And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As you ready, we hope you're ready, like we are, for another episode of Next Round Sports. This is Chris Porter here with my partners in crime, Caleb Culver and Jeff Amos. Welcome back, gentlemen. Good to see you again.
Good to see y'all too. Let's get down to business with some NFL.
We will get right into the games. First, we want to let everybody know that we will be off next week, but we'll be returning back the week after. So we hope everybody enjoys. Get a little vacation planned, taking the kids down to Disney World. So, but we will be recording again in 2 weeks. Yep. Yeah, well, the Pro Bowl's in Orlando, so I tried to talk my wife that, hey, let's peel off for a day that we're not going to the parks and go over to Orlando and go see that. And that was completely X'd out. Like, we're not going to the Pro Bowl. I was like, well, why not? It's right there, you know? But anyways, not that I care about the game, but to see some of the players would have been cool. But I shot my shot. And
I forget that's in Orlando now, not Hawaii anymore.
Right. It seems weird, but
I'm like kind of bouncing around. It's lame. Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's go ahead and get into the bigger topic, and we're going to start over on the AFC. The AFC Championship game where Kansas City comes into Baltimore, and I knew it. I said it when we were making our picks. You don't bet against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs because he's now proven 2 games in a row he can win on the road in hostile.
He's an underdog for the Super Bowl. That's the last time I checked, too.
Oh, yeah. San Francisco's favored by 2 points, but we'll get into that later. But really, Mahomes came out, and I don't know. To me, Baltimore looked like they still had rust left over from the break. Like they didn't really wake up in that game against Houston because the running game never got started, never got going. Lamar looked like a deer in headlights the whole time. Like some of the passes, why are you throwing that? It just made
this is
no
the secret
sense
to getting Lamar under Lamar's skin. And the Chiefs, everyone should know this in the NFL, and the Chiefs just actually fucking did it, is you pressure him every fucking chance you get because you speed him up and he makes mistakes. We saw when his throws were 3 or 5 yards past his receivers down the field when they were going long. We saw it in the mistake whenever he threw the fucking interception at the end. Like, that's how you rattle Mahomes, is you speed him up, you blitz him, you put pressure on him. He doesn't like it.
He doesn't. And the offense was sputtering. For being one of the top rushing teams in the league, only 16 rushing attempts during this game. I mean, they didn't even try to lean on what they did well.
Yeah, like honestly, like I can see 3 people I blame for this fucking loss. First is obviously Lamar. You're gonna be the starting QB. You're gonna get blamed like the starting QB. You're the leader. You take the hits. Like I said, we know the secret. We rush him. He fucks up. Obviously, he fucking took a sack when we could have taken a fucking field goal late in the second quarter. Another fucking mistake. And obviously, the Isaiah Likely interception sealed the deal. However, why the fuck is Isaiah Likely holding his fucking hand up like, give me the ball, and he's got 3 fucking Chiefs around him? It's like, you are a stupid motherfucker, Isaiah, but
he's turning into that.
Yeah, he might be. I mean, you put pressure on him and he fucking panics. Like we talked earlier about Zach panicking after his first read doesn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little different, but it's the same fucking scenario. You know what I mean? Then obviously you got Zay Flowers doing his fucking rookie mistakes. The whole taunting. Wow. It's like, you got to fucking know where you are. And that's just going to take time. That's a rookie mistake.
It was, but and then who was one of the best defensive backs on Kansas City, who ended up causing
the entire backfield of Kansas is a stud. Let's be honest with this. Kansas is like the number 2 pass defense.
He stands out.
Duffy's
in a crowded group. I know, but Snead stands out in a crowded group, and he took that.
Either way,
he took
I said, that. I mean, you can call it karma. You can call it whatever the fuck.
I don't call it karma.
It's another rookie mistake where he's going for the fucking ball and Snead's the one that knocks it out.
Man.
So I mean, you could say it's karma there, but I mean, it's just a dumb fucking rookie mistake again.
It wasn't karma. You taunted the wrong guy.
In that.
You taunted the wrong guy who remembered it and made you pay for it later.
Yeah, aka karma, as you're trying to not say the fucking word.
No, I didn't say karma.
I know. That's what I'm saying. You're trying to hide the word, you jackass. But either way, the rookie's got to know to hold the ball there. And his press conference was kind of shitty afterwards. It's like, yeah, I feel bad. Oh, no, I was trying to win. Yeah, I thought I was over. Meanwhile, he's got Eric DeCosta looking over his fucking shoulder. So I'm sure that wasn't easy to do. But the number one reason they lost this game, you hit on the head just a minute ago. What the fuck was this offensive game plan by Todd Monken? Like you said, I mean, I think there was 6 running plays by the running backs total this entire fucking game.
16 total runs for the whole offense.
Yeah. I said there's like 16, but 6 by just the running backs. The rest were all Lamar Jackson. Some with RPOs, of course. But I mean, you are a run fucking team. The Chiefs were 22nd in the fucking league defensively against the run. Buffalo proved you can run against them, even when they stack the box. Instead, we're going to do this drop back game. Even when the Chiefs started going to fucking nickel and dime for like 60% of the plays of the second half, they still fucking were passing instead of running against a non-loaded box. What
and
the
it's
fuck
not
is
like
this play calls?
It's not like they're getting blown out, and that's what is causing them to
exactly. No, I mean,
it was just
thank goodness the defense
a
actually showed up after the first
game.
quarter. The defense showed up after the first quarter. They had a little rough first quarter, but that second quarter, like, I mean, they stopped the Chiefs on the 4th and 1, as me and Jeff were saying. This could easily have been 24-7 at halftime.
Easily, the way that it's going. And I was surprised by the way the defense looked early in the game. They looked shell-shocked.
Same.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's what stood out to me.
And there's also still another thing, too, and I think, Jeff, I might steal you a little bit, but I'll let you go into more depth on it, is they gave him, Mahomes, so much time. I know you want to not necessarily pressure Mahomes because he's historically great against the blitz, but you can't just let him sit there and dink and dunk you the entire game either. They're getting drives of like 9 minutes, 10 minutes.
You have the most sacks. You're the best blitzing team in the league. Why don't play your strengths? And let him
that's what I'm
beat you.
saying. Like, and this kind of goes back to my number one complaint about Harbaugh too, is the fact that he comes from that special teams area, so he doesn't really get in the way of his coordinators. He's like, okay, well, it's a little like McCarthy in that regard. He's like, okay, well, if it's not working, you do you. I'm gonna trust you to figure it out. Instead of saying, hey, why don't we get together and fucking say maybe we should run some more. It's fucking 17-7 and then 17-10 even. I mean, you could say like the Ravens had 2 shots to score touchdowns. Like I say, one is the Isaiah Likely interception, but the other one is the Zay Flowers fumble, of course. But I mean, it's the play calling overall that cost the Ravens this game, mostly on the offensive side, but a little bit on the defensive side too. I've got to give some bad marks to McDonald there. And I mean, I don't know what's going through Monken's head. Like maybe he thinks we're going to get in a shootout, so he starts passing early. And you can't predict your defense is going to hold the Chiefs to a shutout after their first quarter the way they played.
No.
But, I mean, once you start seeing, hey, they're holding them, why not fucking run the damn ball? Make these drives possession drives and, like you say, play to your fucking strengths.
That's what you do. That's how you beat Patrick Mahomes is you run the ball and you keep him on the sideline. That's how you beat him.
Yes.
You don't give him the opportunity to come out and pass and beat you. You keep him on the sideline by running the ball, milking the clock, and then putting it to where he doesn't have enough time to make it back.
I agree, yeah. And like I said, I mean, those are the top 3 things for me that cost the Ravens this game. Is Lamar's plays, Zay Flowers' mistakes, and the fucking play calling by this coaching staff. But I mean, also, I'm going to, like I say, I don't think this is the reason the Ravens lost the game, but I do feel like this is something the Chiefs get. They get a little bit of Jordan-esque things because they have been good for so long, as they get the fucking calls to go their way. It's like the extra holding and shit. Like, oh, it's the Chiefs. They're just that damn good. We're going to let that one go. There was even a play where Isaiah Likely got run over a couple plays before the interception, or actually before the field goal, that made it 17-10, where Isaiah Likely was just run over. That should have been at least a holding call and 10 yards and first down automatic, putting the Ravens about the 20-yard line at that time. But no flag, no call. And the Travis Kelce bullshit. I mean, I don't know if he's like a secret asshole or if he's like he just like pretends to be the good guy and he's really an asshole. Because there was a lot of altercations. Now, if he's just the guy that gets underneath the other team's skin, fine. But if you're going to be full Draymond Green asshole, that's taking it a little too far.
I've always thought he was. I've always thought he was kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
The way I've watched him play is he just seemed like that guy that was just like a dick.
Oh, I agree. I mean, the whole Justin Tucker bullshit that Patrick Mahomes is having to defend his boy for now, where he threw the kicking gear out of the end zone.
Well, I watched the video of that, and Justin Tucker was laughing his ass off the whole time they were doing it.
Oh, I know. Justin Tucker doesn't give a shit. So
Justin Tucker also has been known to talk a lot of trash even as a kicker. He's a known shit talker.
Yes,
So I mean, him laughing, he found it funny. No one should have even brought that up. That should just been brought up.
No, I agree. It's
guys just joking around out on the
talk news, but
that was.
And then the whole fucking Travis Kelce, like even Kelly mentioned, there's a lot of altercations around Kelce today. I was like, yeah, because he's starting him. He's egging him on. He's being an asshole.
He's egging him on, but on top of that, the cameras, even some of that stuff isn't always going to get shown now, but it is now because of the Taylor Swift effect. He's getting
with
every
Kelce,
time. They put the camera on him every single time, even when he doesn't get the ball thrown to him.
Very true.
That's just what it is. That's what the football we're dealing with now, and that's part of the Taylor Swift effect, which the NFL they wanted.
I was not necessarily happy with the refs. And Kelce is apparently an asshole, or Travis Kelce has apparently been an undercover asshole.
I've always thought that about him. I've always thought he was great, but
he's a great player. But
I've just always thought he was kind of a dick, to be honest.
Yeah. That apparently is true.
The vibe I got from him is I've always got the vibe.
No, fair enough. Listen, I mean, that's what I was saying. I'm going to take a closer look, but that seems to be the fucking statement or the side that I see as well of him. But
exactly, my wife started listening to their podcast. She's now my wife's not a Swiftie. I call her Diet Swiftie. Because she's not like into all the songs or anything. She's just kind of enjoying the whole love story going along with it. So she's Diet Swiftie. And she started listening to podcasts. How do you like them? You know they hang out with them. I was like, well, I think Jason seems like he'd be a good dude. I can't like him until he's officially retired from the Eagles. Then okay, yeah, maybe I could hang out with him. But until then, he's a lifelong Eagle player. So I'm always going to hold that against him. But I go, even on the podcast, Travis just seems kind of like a bit of a douche. But he's a very athletic and successful douche. So good for him. I mean, I may be wrong.
Like he was the bully in high school.
Maybe that's the guy. Yeah, maybe that's just the way he presents himself as well. Maybe he just puts that persona on, and outside of the limelight, he's different. I don't know. I don't know the guy. I don't ever plan on hanging out with him. But I mean, if I did and he was actually different, I'd be like, okay, this is just persona. Good for you. Or you just get into the game and you're that guy in the game, but afterwards you're actually really cool. I don't know. However, it is just insane how every other commercial now has Travis Kelce in it. Every single
his agent's taking
is in there.
A great opportunity to milk his clients' potential at the moment.
And it is great. You strike while the iron's hot. You don't know how long this relationship lasts.
His ass too. I was like, this is getting annoying.
No, his agent doesn't know how long the relationship will last. He hopes it lasts forever so he can milk it for every dime possible that he can. But you milk it.
I wonder what all these Swifties are going to do. Are they going to hate Kelce and the Chiefs together whenever they break up? I'm kind of curious about that, in all honesty.
It could happen.
But who knows?
Although my wife is under
maybe they stay together. Who knows?
That she's now dating somebody outside the music industry. That's why that didn't work. She outshined them all. And now she's dating somebody who has his own thing and his own money. So he doesn't need anything, but he has his own realm where he can shine and she can't outshine him. And that I just think it's a perfect matchup. And she can wear pumps because he's tall enough that she doesn't tower over all the little sissies she dated before. I don't care.
Yeah, I know. That's
watching football.
Are you sure she's a Diet Swiftie? Seems like a full-fledged Swiftie to me.
She started to dip her toe in the full-fledged, I think.
That's what Diet Swiftie is. You're dipping your toe in, and you're just like, I'm kind of like this. If they continue dating, then she's going to end up being a full-fledged Swiftie right now. But
probably, yeah. No, that's I don't know. It was like,
welcome to my life.
Yeah, I apologize. But yeah, so yeah, Kelsey's the underground bully / asshole. We apparently that we have found out.
Give the City defense. Give the Kansas City defense their credit. You've got to give.
I'll give them the credit all day. Like I said, Steve Spagnuolo too is apparently one of the best postseason defensive coordinators there is.
Yes,
because this motherfucker has turned it on in the postseason with that defense.
Oh,
now they were like number.
The Giants and the Eagles. I hated it because he always just found a way to just take us out late in the season. Yeah. It never failed.
Like I said, he knew how to attack Lamar, and he did it. I mean, we knew how to attack the Chiefs, but for some fucking reason, we did not. We needed to run the ball. I mean, we had Dalvin Cook.
He knows how to do it, but he gets his guys to execute, and he gets them to execute perfectly in the playoffs every single time.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's come a long way since the Bounty Gate he had, I think. But
was he in the Bounty Gate? I didn't think he was.
No,
he wasn't in the Bounty Gate.
Oh wait, no. So the deal with that is he was the one that replaced Greg Williams the next year after Bounty Gate.
Yes.
So he was out. He was outside of the Bounty Gate.
Okay, that's it. Fair enough. But yeah. I mean, credits to the Chiefs. Credits to them. Like I said, they came in with a game plan. They smashed us in the mouth, and they won. But yeah, like I say, this is the Ravens. I still feel this was their year, and they kind of fucked it up because they had the team, they had the elements, and it was just a fuck up. Mistake after mistake after mistake.
And it's something to learn from, but at the same time, this is something that you thought your team had already learned already. It's frustrating.
Lamar improved as a passer. He threw some of the best balls I've seen in all of football, not just from Lamar. And I was like, that's a damn pretty spiral. Down the field.
That one to say Flowers in the first quarter looked beautiful. It looked beautiful.
Yeah.
He was wide open. That was overthrown. Even that was overthrown. I think Lamar Jackson.
You're not wrong there, but it was still decently thrown ball.
Tell us your opinion. Go for it, Jeff. Tell us what you really think.
I thought Lamar Jackson was absolutely awful.
We agree with you on that
game, but that goes without saying.
You speed him up, and he is a way different player.
I think what really set the tone were those first two drives by the Chiefs. It's like the Ravens had never seen what the Chiefs provide to the table. It's like the first time the Chiefs ever ran that offense. You knew exactly what they were going to do. They were going to hit Travis Kelce most of the time, and then do a little Pacheco, and then hit Rashee Rice the other times.
And I mean, they stopped Pacheco.
And they ran it down their throats.
Ran
it down their throats. It doesn't. I don't really care that he averaged 2.8 yards. The key is that he got 24 carries in that game. Gus Edwards got 3. That's a problem.
No shit, it's a problem.
Baltimore needed to run the ball more.
Not call them but the same is a fucking problem.
But again, I just think those they felt.
That's a 9. That's a 10, Jeff.
I think what they felt was when the Chiefs were able to score 14 points with no issues whatsoever, there's no way in hell that they're only going to score 3 the rest of the game. So they played from behind the entire game.
That's what I said. Maybe Malcolm thought it was going to be a fucking shootout after those first quarter.
Well, everyone did.
When your defense starts doing that,
Nance and Romo thought it was going to be a shootout.
And another thing is you didn't bother pressuring Mahomes at all. You didn't do that until the end of the game when it was over. I mean, when the Bengals beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game 2 years ago, what did they do? They pressured Mahomes and got 4 sacks. Baltimore only got 2, and one of them was just half a sack, or a couple of them were half sacks, actually.
Yeah.
So
it was a full arm to the face.
Right. So it was just a horrible game by Lamar Jackson, and once again, Andy Reid outcoaches his competition.
Another one of his disciples.
That's why Andy Reid's still the best coach of the NFL. I mean, if people want to put Kyle Shanahan on his pedestal, but Andy Reid beat Kyle Shanahan in that Super Bowl. Kyle Shanahan gave up a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Against
the Patriots.
his
If
offensive
Shanahan
coordinator for
wants
the
to change it,
Falcons.
they're going to have to do that in this upcoming Super Bowl, which we're about to be
Yes.
into here shortly. Well, as we all agree, Baltimore sucks.
Fuck you.
Boo.
They had a shit-tested
Kansas
game.
City,
That's for sure.
Kansas City will be representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. It will be the Taylor Swift Bowl. However,
This is probably
what
how it'll go down in
happens
history,
in the
unfortunately.
NFC game, I'm going to have to
Yeah.
root for Kansas City. I have to. I can't root for the winner of the NFC. So
I'll get into my pick later and discuss what I was feeling.
exactly, I let my pick out early, but that is what it is.
You're fine.
NFC Championship game later that evening. This game ended up being more of the shootout that I thought we were going to get with Kansas City Baltimore that we didn't get. And
Yes.
I thought we were going to get more of a defensive game here along this way, but San Francisco able to squeak it out 34-31 against Detroit. And really, to me, this game lays solely on Dan Campbell's shoulders. And you can say this, and I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
He brought this team in that whole mentality of, okay, if it's fourth down, we're going to go for it because we're going to win, and we're going to go for the win every single time, no matter what, and that's how we're going to do it. And it's worked for him. But eventually, you've got to know as a head coach in these situations, okay, you can do that in regular season game and build it up, but there's got to be a time when you're late in the game, you need to just kick the field goal. And you've got to be able to keep this one close. When you can score points in a championship game, you've got to score those points when you can get them. Points are hard to come by, and that
Especially when your team
fourth
starts
down.
to reel in the second half, like the Lions did. I mean, the
Exactly,
Lions
they
won
had
that
a
first
huge
half.
lead.
They-
Oh, it looked
I
amazing.
mean, they ran all over the place. They threw all over the place. They could do whatever they want against the 49ers defense.
Which
I
was
mean, if
surprising.
you want to talk about
Very-
a shell shock defense, Jeff, talk about the 49ers coming out against the Lions.
Yeah.
Because they really
Sure.
just like, what the hell's happening?
They made
Gibbs
Jared
is running
Goff
Reynolds
look like
and Amar Brown. You can name names on that Lions team. Somebody had a catch. Sam Laporta. Pretty much everybody got the ball, and they had 3 touchdowns in that first half compared to 1 for the 49ers. But no, I agree with you, Porter. This loss is definitely on Dan Campbell's shoulders, just like the Cowboys' losses earlier this year, where he just got fed up and wanted to go for it. And I think it is probably the mentality. I mean, the first one, I'm not necessarily too mad about. I think it was 4th and 1. Like, we only talk about the ones he misses, of course, but the 2 that he missed that were bad were 4th and 1. It's like, okay, I get it.
early
Not
in the
necessarily
game. That's
bad,
fine.
but-
Okay, you want to do it earlier in the
Yeah,
game. I'm
exactly.
cool with that. That's fine. You showed that
Yeah.
you're still being that team. But when it comes down near the end of the game and you're
Yeah.
down 10 points, you need
Mhm.
every single score you can get when
Yeah,
you're
I
near.
mean, you got a
your
chance
side.
to tie it.
You
You're
have
on the
to.
San Francisco 30-yard line. This is going to be a 48-yard field goal. Now, I understand the Lions don't necessarily trust their kicking situation, and that's something they've got to address this offseason.
Well, they trust it more than Green Bay does, and Green Bay still went for the field goal. I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is a 48-yard field goal. This is something that should be an NFL make. And it's also 4th and 3. Every yard, I feel like you go for it on 4th down, 4th and 1, 4th and 2, whatever, and it's exponentially harder to get.
Oh, it is. It absolutely is. In 4th and 3,
So, I
I
mean,
thought
you're
it was
already
just
talking about a
foolhardy to go
4th
for it.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
if you're
well,
up, if you're up 3 points and you think, I don't know if we can stop them because they've been mashing down our throats the whole time, and you're up 3 and you're like, we need to go ahead and get in there so we can try to score a touchdown. Okay, I feel you. And you failed. Okay, I see what you were doing, but
Yeah.
you're down 3. You have a chance to tie this
Right.
game up and completely change the way things are going. And okay, I understand this is the grit of your team, but you have to be able to humble yourself at that time as the head coach. So no, we're kicking 3 here. We're going to tie it up, and let's let our defense come out there and do what they did at the beginning of the game. So that's what's frustrating to me, even not as a Detroit fan. But I picked Detroit to win this game, and they should have. They should have won this game. And this was a way that your team had been faltering, as you said. They had the big lead early going into the half. They came out, got punched in the mouth there early in the second half, and this was a chance to help saved that defense where they didn't have to stop any more points from happening.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think what bugs me is that the times that Dan Campbell, went for two didn't make sense to me. But the time that, in my mind, that he could have easily gone for fourth down. If I said go for two, I apologize. But I meant go for on fourth down.
Yeah,
he kicked the field goal when it was fourth and goal on San Francisco's 3 at the end of the half. If there was any time to go for the touchdown and go for the kill shot, do it there. If you're going to be Mr. Go for it, why kick the field goal there and then go for it the other times? It doesn't make sense to me. Everyone keeps saying that, oh, this is how they played all year. This is what you got to do. Then how come he didn't go for it at the end of the half?
Exactly.
Great point, Jeff. Great point.
It is. Why aren't you doing it every single time? Why are you doing it at this point? It just something just seems.
At that point, you got a Mike Tomlin almost.
It just seems
because
very.
I think if they made that 28-7, that probably would have been it. Now, granted, I would have kicked the field goal every single time, but if there was to be time to go for it, it would have been that.
It would have been better than when he did go for it.
Yes, exactly.
At least you're on the 4th and 3. You've got the whole rest of the yard to go. You're on the 48, or not. I mean, the 30. What was it? 30, not 48 yard field goal. So I mean, I don't know. I just don't get it. I find it very frustrating. I know Detroit fans find it very frustrating.
It's the ultimate catch-22,
also
right?
A young coach
because he was the one that got you.
Get better, but he's got, like you said, got to learn that fine line.
He's even come out and said
he's reckless.
He came out and he owned it. He owned it, said it was his fault for the loss. And then even I saw this statement come out that he goes, I hope that we didn't blow our one chance. It's really, really hard to get as far as we did in this game. And I hope that I didn't blow this chance for this team.
Yeah. And again, I think it's like I say, it's the ultimate catch-22. It's like, yeah, you can blame Dan Campbell for losing this game. You most definitely can. However, he was the one that got you to be in this position in the first place. So it's tough. As much as
it's easy as it is to blame him, also the blame lays on the defense's feet as well. They're the ones that let San Francisco do whatever they wanted to in the second half and not do anything to stop them. And I understand San Francisco has all the weapons in the world. But at the same time, you shut them down in the first half and you let them make changes. What happened to your changes? What happened to your drive? Did you just want to coast afterwards just because, we got this big lead? We don't have to we got them where we want them. We don't have to play them this hard. Well, obviously you needed to.
Yeah.
Yeah. It also, too,
it's nickel and dime out there, at least.
It probably wouldn't have mattered.
Or second half.
It probably wouldn't have mattered, but why, with the minute 5 to go, when Sterling goal on the 1 for Detroit, why did they run the ball on 3rd and goal at the 1? And then they didn't get it. Then they had to use a timeout. Therefore, for sure,
terrible call.
To go for an onside kick. What are you doing?
Terrible call. That right there was god awful. It's like that was Mike McCarthy level clock management. It was god awful.
Oh yeah.
What are you doing? You still could have saved all 3 of your timeouts, at least had one more shot left. But no, they completely mismanaged the end of the game. It was a complete baffle. It truly, truly was. And I thought I lost it, but it just blows my mind the way this game went. Like, it just made no sense whatsoever as I was watching, going, what is going on here? This doesn't look right. This doesn't look like the way that it was going early on. Like, did they just forget how to coach, forget how to play? It looked like they took off the gas pedal and just took it. He's like, hey, we got this in the bag. And you can't do that in these kind of games. That's what it looked like. I don't know for sure.
Ultimately, the tale of two halves. I mean, just as simple as that.
Yep.
Ooh, all right. Well, I'm now livid and frustrated once again.
Same, good sir.
Felt like I was a Detroit fan there for a little while. Where the hell was Hutchinson this game? Where was he?
That's a good question.
My favorite thing to say, he was on the freaking milk carton. After what he did coming through, being he's one of the best defensive linebackers or one of the best pass rushers in the league. He did not show a reason why he's one of the best, regarded as one of the best young pass rushers in the league. He was nowhere. You didn't see him the whole game. His name didn't get called that I can remember.
No, because he didn't record a stat other than apparently. I'm just looking here at he had no tackles at all, but apparently he had 2 passes defended, which I do not remember at all. Yeah, exactly. And so that's the difference. I mean, that's the difference between him and Nick Bosa. Aiden Hutchinson did nothing. Nick Bosa, 2 sacks. Fred Warner, 13 tackles. He did nothing. So that's the difference between good and great.
And that's what you need when you're in the playoffs is you need your best players you need your great players to play great. You don't need your great players to play good. They need to play great to be able to win championships. And I just didn't see that from Detroit's defense. You know, that's why I picked them, is because, hey, this defense should stand up the way that they did, you know, on the way in to the playoffs and through the playoffs. And they did not show up. They showed up early. They did show up early. But to me, it seems like they just decided to put it on coast after halftime. And when you do that, you lose the game, as we can obviously see. All right, well, that brings us we'll go ahead and take a quick break right here as we go into the Super Bowl and our picks for the Super Bowl and where we're all standing. We'll be back here in just a few moments. And welcome back from the break as we get to talk about the biggest game of the year in all sports. And everyone, even if you're not a fan of NFL, you're a fan of other teams, I think this is the biggest game in all of sports. Super Bowl Sunday has everybody, people have said that the day after should be a national holiday just because of how big.
Well, this our opening day. I'd say this our opening day.
Well, see, I say that, but the non-baseball people would argue and say, "Oh, that's not the opening day." To me, opening day is just as big. I love opening day. I love opening day more than I love the Super Bowl. I do. I've gotten really into baseball more as I've gotten older. I'm more of a baseball guy than I have been a football guy. But still, the Super Bowl, I don't throw the parties I used to because I live up in the Northeast. But I mean, that's what I did. I threw the Super Bowl party back when I was down in Texas. That's what happened. And I love the game. I do, even if I hate the teams that are playing, such as the last time I threw it down there in Princeton where we got to watch New England, Philly. God, it was terrible.
Yeah.
However, I agree with you. I prefer opening day myself. I think opening day is fantastic. But this is the biggest game of the year. This is the biggest game of the year. Where opening day is more of a couple of days and multiple games going on. It's more of an experience than it is a game. This is the game of the year. And you've got San Francisco, Kansas City, which we've talked ad nauseum about through the last few weeks. The opening line, San Francisco is negative 2.0, minus 2.0.
It was 1.5 earlier today.
Yeah, so that's where the line is that I checked right before we started broadcasting.
Yeah, I think it started at 3, that everyone ran to bet on the Chiefs. And
I think it started at 1 or 1.5, then moved up.
I heard it started at 3. I didn't see it. Like I said, the first time I saw it was at negative 1.5, but I heard somebody report that it was 3. Then everybody ran to bet on the Chiefs, and that put it at the 1.5 point. And then it seems like it's going back to the 49ers way now.
And now what's crazy is that just looking at it at this very moment, it's up to 2.5 now. So more money is coming in on San Francisco.
What he just said.
That's the Super Bowl for you. That's what's going to be done. I mean, when you bet
on the coin toss, national anthem time. Oh my gosh!
Which commercial is going to bet? Play at what time?
Yeah, which commercial airs first?
Oh, there's thousands of different.
This is a gambler's wet dream every year.
Oh yes.
I mean, there's just so many things to gamble on. It's absolutely absurd. But anyways,
please bet responsibly.
On our next broadcast, it's going to be after the Super Bowl, so we're going to actually really be talking about everything that happened in this game. Since we're missing a week, it's the Pro Bowl, so it's not a big deal. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But when we get back, we'll be able to talk more about which commercials we liked. What was hit or miss along with those. I mean, the commercials are part of it now. Some people just go to Super Bowl parties to watch the commercials, which is, I mean, it's become that way now. These are the
That's usually
commercials
how the wives
every
came
year.
along.
It is. They had to bring them along somehow.
Yeah, they came along.
Before that, it was my pizza bread.
That's what she said.
Mm-hmm. Well, Jeff remembers.
Oh, yes.
Well, anyways, going into this game, I'll give you guys my input because I've already said I think Kansas City is going to take this and be the first back-to-back since Patriots many years ago. And my reason for this is I see this being a lot like the Baltimore game. Kansas City looked very, or I'm not Kansas City. San Francisco looked kind of flustered the way that Baltimore looked early. And that the thing is that you don't have Jared Goff. You're holding off at the end of the game. It's Patrick Mahomes. And I'm not going to bet against Patrick Mahomes again in the playoffs. I'm not. And he's proven it now. He's got that monkey off his back that can he win on the road? Or can he only win at home? He proved now that he can win on the road. And San Francisco needs to come out hard and fast. They need to blitz after him and do what Kansas City did to Lamar Jackson to be able to have a
They
chance.
need something from their latest their midseason additions of Chase Young and Montrezl Sweat.
Chase Young
They
is
need
done.
something.
Chase Young is done. He has not done anything. Washington was smart.
I'm not
to get
disagreeing
what
with you. I'm
for
just
him.
saying they need something from one of those.
Oh,
guys.
absolutely, they need something from him. But he has been,
If not both.
he's been nowhere since he got traded. I think his career's done. I honestly do. And I expected more out of him, but hey, that's what injuries do to you. I'm sorry that happens. Hey, you still got paid millions of dollars at the end of the day. But Kansas City's going to hit them hard. I think that what Detroit did early, I think Andy Reid, given 2 weeks of preparation, they're going to watch this game and they're going to see how to exploit Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, and everything, and how to get something early and then terrorize Brock Purdy. Just terrorize him the way that they terrorize Lamar Jackson. Because Lamar Jackson, who reigned MVP, you're able to do that to him. I think you can do it to Mr. Irrelevant. So that's my opinion there. I am putting down Kansas City for myself because I'm not betting against. I made the mistake last week of not betting on Mahomes, and it bit me in the butt, and I'm tied. Well, as the standings go, I lost both of my picks, so I'm still at 7. Jeff got one. San Francisco win. He's tied at 7, and Caleb, you're at 6. So if I just would have stuck with my gut, bet on Mahomes, I'd be up 8-7. I'm not making that mistake again. Kansas City will win this game. You want me to give me a score? Do you want me to give you a score too?
Yes, I was going to ask for a score. Yes.
All right. I am going to call this one decently close. I'm going to say it's going to be 27-24 Chiefs.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to go ahead and put that down on here. So I've got our scores too.
24.
That you won't.
Okay.
Yep, I wrote it down. Wrote the score down.
All right. Fair enough.
All right, Mr. Caleb. Go for it.
Yeah, so this is one of the rare times of Super Bowl. To me, this should be called the meh bowl. Like, okay, these teams made it. And I think I showed that infographic with you where like half of America, like half of California is rooting for San Francisco. Yes. And then like somebody's rooting for the Chiefs. Everybody else is like,
nobody cares.
Just lose?
Everyone's going to watch it, but
teams
no one
just
cares.
Cowboy fans care about this game because if the 49ers
win,
they go over the Cowboys in Super Bowl total. So that's why I have to pull for Kansas City.
That's fine.
I want to, but I have
like I said, to me, this is just this probably will go down as the Swifty Bowl, unfortunately, for history's sake. But yeah, I really just want both teams to lose at heart. But I mean, you're going against this. You got the 49ers. Like, okay. You're looking at Mr. Irrelevant. Great story. You got Christian McCaffrey having a strong game in that second half, especially going against the Lions. But that, I mean, with all this, though, on the 49ers side, like you said, I mean, you're giving Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo, and Patrick Mahomes 2 weeks to watch tape and get ready for you. I'm not going against the Chiefs. He said, I feel like they're going to do the same thing they did against Baltimore. And Kyle Shanahan has proven he does not do well in big games over and over again. Like Jeff mentioned earlier, he was the offensive coordinator for the Falcons when they gave up 20 points against the Patriots and let them win that Super Bowl at the end. So, I mean, I just think Kansas City is going to get this one, and I don't even think it's going to be close. This is going to be a boring Super Bowl. This is going to be something like 2010.
2010, is that your prediction? Hands down. I'm about to write it down.
It'll be 24-10.
24-10. Got it. It's on the board. All right, Jeff. Go.
This sounds great. I'm the complete opposite of both of y'all. I like San Francisco in this. I like San Francisco in this game a lot. Reason being is that I think the Chiefs' offensive line is going to get really exposed in this game. I don't think they have an answer to stop the pass rush of Nick Bosa. I don't think they have the ability to stop the penetration of Fred Warner or Dre Greenlaw. I just think that there's so many guys San Francisco can rotate along the edge to really disrupt.
What's the problem? San Francisco can do that, but they don't. They disappear.
Well, their interior does, as evidenced by Detroit's ability to run all over them last week. However, I don't think Isaiah Pacheco is that guy to do it. I mean, Baltimore's rush.
He's a north-south runner.
Yeah. So, I mean, I compliment the fact that Pacheco was able to get 24 carries, but as we alluded to as well, still only got 2.8 yards per carry. So I think that there's really no answer for the edge rushers of San Francisco. And I don't think Kansas City has an answer for Christian McCaffrey either. I think Christian McCaffrey's going to be able to catch the ball effectively out of the backfield and be able to run in between the tackles. Also, too, so much for Deebo Samuel being injured. He had a fantastic game against Detroit on Sunday, and there's no reason why he can't do the same against Kansas City. And I think Brock
Especially
Purdy,
if they utilize him as a runner.
and I think Brock Purdy is going to be efficient. I don't think he's going to force any throws. And I feel like San Francisco got their bad half of football out of the way this postseason, and they survived.
We thought that against Baltimore, too. We thought Baltimore did that as well.
Yeah,
in the last game against Houston.
True, and it did, and it didn't happen. It did not happen.
They've had.
Right.
They've had one against Green Bay and one against the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, true. They did not look good against Green Bay in that half.
They were able to come back because they were going against Jordan Love and Jared Goff, not Patrick Mahomes.
True, but I think that the Chiefs have been rather lucky because, I mean, let's face it, that in that second half they did absolutely nothing. It took the Ravens to do absolutely nothing in return for them not to lose that game. And also, it took Buffalo to miss a field goal to have that game not go into overtime. They're a team that's been playing with 9 lines. And I just think it's about that time to run out. I like San Francisco to win. I like San Francisco easily. My score will be 7-17 San Francisco.
Well, can you repeat that score again? You broke up just a little bit there.
27-17 San Francisco.
Okay, just wanted to make sure I heard it correctly. 27-17.
You got it.
All right. Well, I honestly think that you're going San Francisco just so that if that does happen, since we both picked Kansas City, that you would then be leading 8-6 and 7. So that's what I really think, is that you're picking that just to go for the win, and I respect that.
It's the strategy.
Because if I would have gone last and that was who was left and I needed that for the win, I would go against whoever was tied with me to be able to get the win. So I can respect that.
No. I'm not going against it. No.
Yes,
I
yes,
don't
that's
care.
exactly what you're
I
doing.
don't
That's
care.
exactly what you're
That's
doing.
what's
You're going against what I picked just so you can try to win. I don't blame you. I would do the same thing. Yes,
You gave it to me. I'm glad because I would have had to force
it's
KC.
not going to happen.
I would have had to have made up KC. So I'm glad.
All right, you're going to have to listen to your wife celebrate about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, all night long because they're just going to keep showing Taylor Swift because Kelce against Baltimore had 116 yards, 2 touchdowns, and we had to sit there and watch it the whole time. You're going to be seeing it the whole time at the Super Bowl too. Because she's going to fly back from Japan and be there. Watch it happen.
Yeah, it's going to be the question.
Purdy will be her boyfriend.
That's the question.
Not Kelce.
Purdy is going to look like a deer in headlights. Kansas City's going to beat them. It's going to happen. They're going to be the first back-to-back since the Patriots years ago. All right. Well, we will see on our next broadcast where we're all sitting at, but definitely a chance here where someone's going to take this crown of prediction, this prediction crown, and we'll have to go from there and then carry it on from then on. So we'll take just a quick break here, and then we're going to be back with a segment we haven't had here in a little while, but one we're happy to have back. What the F with Jeff? What the f? And welcome back from the break as we're ready to start everyone's favorite segment, What the F with Jeff. So, Jeff, what the F?
So this started to grind my gears last week when we were talking about the Hall of Fame class of 2024. Mainly, we're talking about the well-deserved voting of Adrian Beltre, first ballot, 95.1%. I have no issues with that whatsoever. Todd Helton also got in on his 6th time on the ballot. I felt that
Trevor
was
Hoffman on his
well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that goes to a different discussion. And then the other man was Joe Mauer. On his first time on the ballot, he gets 76.1% of the votes, and you have to get 75, and he is therefore in the Hall of Fame as a first ballot Hall of Famer. And in my mind, I was like, I don't even know if the guy should be in the Hall of Fame in the first place, but then he gets in the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. And so that made me, and so this is someone who had 2,100 hits, 143 home runs. He's a lifetime 306 hitter, lifetime OBP of 388, which is great. But at the same time, he only played in 1,800 games as well.
A mile or a minute, a win's a win. Doesn't matter if you scrape by or you completely demolish.
He has none of the regular stats, and I see what Jeff is saying. This first ballot for the Hall of Fame has historically been sacred. You have to be the Mariano Rivera, the Nolan Ryan
is the only
category.
Person to go in at 100%.
I mean, you've got to be this level typically.
No one hated Manny. No one hated Manny. No one hated Rivera.
I see where he's going with Trevor Hoffman now. That guy should not have been a third ballot motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Especially if Bauer's a first ballot.
And now, granted, I'm going to read off some names here, and some of these are just from like the Stone Age, but forgive me. Cy Young.
Never.
Second year on the ballot. He didn't get in on the first year of the ballot. That's Cy freaking Young.
Right.
Tris Speaker, another one, second year on the ballot. Rogers Hornsby, one of the best hitters of the live decade, or the first hitters of the live decade. Hit 403 times. Took him 5 years to get in the Hall of Fame. Jimmy Fox, 7th year eligible. Joe frickin' DiMaggio, 4 times. Took him 4 years to get in the Hall of Fame. Hank Greenberg, 9 years. Yogi Berra, 2 years. And what really pissed me off, and those were long, long ago when the Riders were just complete fucking dickheads. But this one really pissed me off is Harmon Killebrew, who Mr. Twin. He had 573 career home runs, 5th best of all time when he appeared on the ballot in 81. It took him 4 years to get in. 4 years. And then Joe Mauer gets to get in on one.
You know what this tells me?
On 1 year?
Joe Mauer is better. Better.
No, he's not.
I know he's not. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm playing devil's advocate. I know he's not.
He's not. Biggio took him 3 years after he already got 3,000 hits. Took him 3 years to get in. Also,
by the way, I've got a few photos of Biggio's 3,000th hit.
Yes,
Even
yes,
as a Houston
and that was just as more recent times, as you brought up, Caleb, Trevor Hoffman, 30-year on the ballot, arguably the best closer of all time, 601 saves, took him 3 years to get on the ballot.
Best over Rivera?
Next to Mariano Rivera, the best closer of all time.
You knew when Sandman was playing, it was almost a shot at time to end the game.
Yeah.
And Vladimir Guerrero, how in the fuck it took him more than 1 year to get in the ballot. Vladimir Guerrero this was as recent as years ago. Vladimir Guerrero was a hell of a lot better player than Joe Mauer ever was. And it took him more than 1 year to get in. Carl Fisk, one of the best catchers of all time, took him 2 years to get in.
He was good.
Gaylord Perry took 3 years. Eddie Matthews took 5 years to get in with over 500 home runs.
Well, then how do you want to change this? Do you want to up the percentage to like 85%?
If we're going to be, look,
because
I think it's idiotic. First, I think it's idiotic that it took, for example, Cy Young in 1937 to have multiple years. But at the same time, if we're going to make the Hall of Fame mean something, yes, I agree. Joe Mauer. I mean, actually, no, I don't even know for sure if Joe Mauer should be in the Hall of Fame. But
he's a questionable one.
But
to me, he's questionable. But also, what percentage did you need?
First ballot.
Okay, when Cy Young went in, what was the percentage you needed for Cy Young that he missed out to get in that he had to wait?
I don't think they've changed the percentage.
That time? Has it always been 75%? I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, and so that's the thing. It's always been 75%, and this goes back to the 30s. So and that's why Cy Young, by the way, he barely got in on the second time with 76.1%. So I guess what I'm asking is,
you're saying as good as Joe Mauer is what you're saying.
Yeah, so Joe Mauer is better than Cy Young. Now, granted, the sports writers are idiots, and I'm glad those old fucktards are dying off.
They're idiots and assholes, because we know Derek Jeter should have gone in unanimously too. But
at the same time, well, yeah, that's the thing.
Well, those are also the same guys that are keeping Pete Rose out.
Right. So I guess my point is,
I don't think Pete Rose is eligible because of the whole.
Well, no, he's not eligible for that. But he's eligible, but they won't put him in because of the scandal.
Yeah, he's eligible, but they won't put him in.
At the point, it's okay. You're putting him in the Hall of Fame. If you're going to put him in the Hall of Fame as coach, then do that, penalize that. But as a player, it shouldn't be penalized for what he did on the field as a player. But I think they're going to put him in. I think they're just waiting for him to die to do it, so he doesn't get to enjoy it. That's what I think.
And so, well, granted, I
think Pete Rose has also pissed off a lot of people because he's very abrasive and they don't like him. When
an overall shitty.
When the voters like you, you get voted in more often. Which that's what Joe Mauer. The voters liked him. He was good to the voters. They liked him. He's a likable guy. That's what you have to be sometimes.
And so, granted, I love the fact that these old ass baseball writers are dying off.
That's just because you're
but
nice and a
same-
good guy doesn't mean you get into the Hall of Fame on the first ballot.
Well, no. But
Well,
what I'm
no,
saying
you
is,
play that many
shouldn't. But the
games.
thing is, you don't piss off the wrong people. Why do you think T.O., who should have been first ballot going in to the Football Hall of Fame, didn't get in? Because he pissed off too many people. Yes, it shouldn't be that way. But when you have these selected sports writers who are able to hide behind unanimous votes, such as the one guy who didn't vote for Jeter and give him 100%, who was able to hide behind a unanimous selection, or hide his identity, that it's all because of their personal feelings. The one guy that voted against Jeter was definitely a Red Sox fan. Everyone fucking knows it. That's what it was. Now, do I think Jeter should have got in 100%? No. But at the same time, when one person did it and he hid behind a unanimous, anonymous name, that's bullshit. You shouldn't be able to do that. You should have to sit there and say, and put out your name and say, hey, I voted no against him, and this is why. And if you do it, it's, hey, I voted against him because I'm a Red Sox fan. That's the only reason why. Okay, that's your right as a voter. Even though it's a dumb way to vote, you still have earned the right to vote because of whatever reasons they gave out to come out. But that's the way that the Hall of Fame voting is. I mean, they're not going to change that because they like the power they have with it. So they're not going to change it. And we've lost Caleb.
Yeah. But I was just going to say that I'm glad that the sports old baseball writers are dying off, and then we're eliminating some of this stuff to where, Derek Jeter or Mariano Rivera can't be 100%. I know Derek Jeter was not 100%, but we're getting
No, I don't think he was.
less and less. No, he wasn't. What I'm saying is less and less of those guys are alive, and that's great. But also, too, I think with that being said, if we are going to be elderly, if we're going to, you're damn right. If they're
awkward.
If we're going to be more lenient now, then I think that we may need to up the percentage from 75% like it was in 1937.
Well, how about this?
I think we maybe need to move it up to maybe 85%.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can keep it 75 basically, but if this is your first year on the ballot, you got to get 85. And then you can say if it's your second year, you got to get 80 or whatever. And then finally in your third year, you just got to get the bare minimum of 75 type of thing.
That's actually not a bad
Maybe
idea.
something like that.
Well,
I would be in favor.
Also throw in that a percentage of the vote, not a huge percentage, but a percentage of the vote comes down to the fan base. Why does it have to be just this elite people who can show themselves or vote anonymous?
Well, I feel like the fans lost their right to vote when the All-Star votes for the NBA.
Well, of course it has. That's why I said it doesn't have to be big, but to give it like a small percentage to actually feel like you have a chance to vote in, instead of these sports writers who have their personal biases, who are able to feel whichever way. Oh, because this guy stunned me for an interview, now I'm definitely not going to vote for him in the Hall of Fame because one time he stunned me. That's still petty in its own way, and they're going to be petty because they're human, just like all of us. But give the fans a slice, at least where they can at least feel like they've voiced themselves. Now, it doesn't have to be like the All-Star game where they pick the starters, and everybody's like, why the fuck is, like, in the NBA, why is Yao Ming starting when he hasn't played in 3 years?
Right.
I mean, it doesn't have to be something like that, but you could give them where, okay, 10% of the vote is all of the fan votes, and whoever has the highest in the fan vote gets that 10%. Whatever, top 3 of it, that's 10% of what they get. I'm just spitballing here. But
no,
that way
I'd
you get the fans involved in that, and that way it's not just, it's a minor percentage, because we know that then all the Yankee fans around the world will go in and vote in the Yankee. That's what's going to happen. Or they're going to go vote against someone. You give it a minor.
A lot of Dodgers and Yankees if you don't think
exactly. Red Sox fans, if the Yankee was up there, they would all go in there and vote against them, just out of spite. But you make it a small percentage, but then you're taking away that chance of 100% at that time. which I don't think anybody should get 100% just because of fan loyalty. I mean, the only person that got it was Mariano Rivera, and I have to say, as much as I hated the Yankees, especially during the 90s and everything in the 2000s, he was one person you couldn't hate. He came in, did his job.
Yeah.
And you're like, he was great, and you respected him.
Still voted against him, though.
Oh, yeah, Boston people would have voted against him. Hands down, they would have. But apparently some of them, the one who voted against Jeter, didn't vote against him. There's a reason why. That's why I said the guy that voted against Jeter, the one guy that kept him out of that, which I didn't agree Jeter should be 100. I did not. I know everybody loves him. I never liked Jeter. But at the same time, I didn't think he deserved 100%. I believe he was a Hall of Famer, but I didn't think he'd be 100% in. But that one person who voted against him should not have hid behind an anonymous. He should have stood up behind his morals and said, "This is why I voted against him. Like it or not, this is why."
And that's another thing. These pussies that go anonymous, they're too afraid to go.
It should not be allowed to be anonymous. It should not be allowed.
No.
If you have the right to vote for the Hall of Fame, you have to sit there and back up your decision. You don't get to hide behind anonymous. That's ridiculous. That's chicken shit. And you should, you should get the chance to be anonymous. If you decide to, but then you lose your spot as a voter for Hall of Fame. So you can get that option. You can be anonymous, but then you are no longer allowed to vote for the Hall of Fame at that point.
After that year.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you shouldn't be.
You can put that vote in, but if you click anonymous, you're done. You're out. You no longer get to vote for it.
And if you don't put Derek Jeter in the Hall of Fame, you shouldn't be voting for the Hall of Fame anyway.
Well, that's fine. That's the whole reason. I didn't think.
Like I said, first
but if you're going to do it, you should sit there and defend your reason.
Sure.
Don't be scared. Defend it.
I agree with you.
Because if I was on the voting and I saw Jeter, I would have voted against it. I would have voted against him. Even though I think he deserves it, I would have voted against him, and then I would have stood up and said, "I did this, and this is the reason why. I'm not a fan of Derek Jeter.
As long as
I know everyone in New York. I know New York loves him, and he has the stats to do it. But I still think he was carried by the rest of this team, and I don't think that he deserves to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Do I believe he needs to be in the Hall of Fame? Yes, but not a first ballot. I would have stood up and said it. That's what you need to do and back it up.
Just don't hide behind it.
Yeah, the Yankee fans are going to yell at you, but other people were going to stand behind you. Okay, you stood behind your principles, and then you can vote him in after that if you want to. But I just don't believe he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Just like we need to look back and see on the Joe Mauer votes, okay, who voted for him and who voted against him, and how many of them were anonymous. And the people who voted anonymous, okay, stand up and tell me your reason. Are the people who are anonymous? Tell me why you voted for him.
Honestly, I could give two shits if someone told me why they voted Joe Mauer one way or the other. But I mean, Derek Jeter's interesting because it's the one fucking person.
True, but there are people that
Mauer, it's like, I don't give a shit what you voted for him, even if you're anonymous.
I understand that you don't give a shit, but there are people out there that do give a shit about this. Right. They're like, why?
Well, I agree. No one should be anonymous when they vote, but at the same time, this is the system we have, and I don't.
Well, still, if you're voting for the Hall of Fame, when you put in your vote, you should have to put in the reason why you vote.
Well, I think you should just put your name. You can tell the reason later.
Most of these people are in the
reason why you vote. You just
they should. They should have
with your name. No anonymous bullshit.
They are all sports writers. They talk about.
It's going to take too damn long for them to fill out a fucking vote card. Some of these guys are 80 years old. They ain't gonna last long enough to finish a fucking voting card.
And then that goes back to where they should be voting.
They write about sports. If they can't write 2 sentences and say why they're voting for or against a person, then why are they writing for sports?
Shit to this, Porter. You're just adding more and more shit. You started talking about voting and different percentages, and then you got off track on the anonymous. Then you're like, well, let's add a reason to it as well.
Because it is a fouled system.
The reason is given when you ask. That's how you report.
It's just because you don't care about the Baseball Hall of Fame. That's what it is. I care about it. Jeff cares about it. You don't care about it.
Obviously, I already told you you're a fucking retard for not understanding the sacred ballot.
You don't give 2 shits about the baseball.
You don't give 2 shits. Get out of here.
Apparently not.
Oh, this man.
Okay. if we're talking basketball, yeah, that's overrated. But baseball, come on now.
Well, it was nice seeing Dirk get into it, though.
Oh yeah,
His acceptance speech was nice. That was good.
Basketball Hall of Fame, everyone and their mom
all,
can get in.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. The basketball.
Yeah, but Dirk's speech was good.
Hall of Fame.
Still, you two need to plan your trip up here so that we can all go over to Canton.
Oh yes.
Don't you tell me what to do, Ricky Bobby?
I will tell you what to do.
That sounds fine.
I'm down to do it as soon as possible. I got some time.
Yeah, because we need to set that up, put that together, and then we can put the video together and put it up here on the YouTube page of us invading the Hall of Fame.
Seeing the Rangers World Series plaque before they take it down next year.
Well, no, we're not talking about going to Cooper's.
Oh yeah, sorry, that's a different one. Never mind.
We're not going to.
I covered any Hall of Fame.
No, the MLB Hall of Fame's got a place for the Rangers right now in the World Series, which would be cool to see. But yeah, nah.
All right, well, we'll quit pissing Caleb off about Hall of Fame talk, and we'll take a quick break here, and we'll be back with the Sports Gumbo.
That's good. That's good. Man, that's good. That's what you call gumbo. Poor man gumbo.
And welcome back from the break, as we're now into the Sports Gumbo, which it's been an expanded Sports Gumbo throughout the NFL playoffs, because the NFL playoffs have really dominated what we've been doing. So we're going to be talking about everything else in sports that we weren't able to hit in our previous segments. But in saying that, we are starting out with the NFL because it leads everything. And we're starting with the quarterback or the coaching carousel. My apologies. The coaching carousel that's been going on. And we've talked about these different positions that have been filled. The one I want to bring up first and then throw it to you guys is one that hits me a little deep. Kellen Moore leaving San Diego Chargers. Of course, they hired Jim Harbaugh, so of course he's going to be bringing in his own staff, even though Kellen Moore is one year there at San Diego. Kellen Moore is going to be joining Vic Fangio over in Philadelphia. He's now the new offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. So a complete for Sirianni, bringing in whole brand new offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. We talked about the way that he kind of lost the locker room this year, and that he had to make some changes, especially after he lost both his offensive and defensive coordinator from the year before. Going in this, are these possibly, in your opinions, the right picks to help secure his job? Or
Mangini, I think, could be good, but Kellen Moore is going to be a lame duck again.
Well, Fangio had his success as a defense coordinator, but until he took over the head coaching job at Denver, which he completely blundered. They were terrible.
But he's still in DC. We've seen it with Dan Quinn and other DCs who went.
Well, he was, but except at the beginning of the season where he was with Miami before this last season.
They were a top 10 defense.
Well, not at the beginning of the season when we talked about how terrible their defense was, how it was just porous as USC. Go back and look at our tapes. Now, did they secure it later up?
For the top 10.
They did eventually get further up.
But he was there most of the year. It's not like he dipped out after 3 games.
I didn't say he dipped after 3 games. I'm just saying that they weren't, like at the beginning of the season, everyone said Miami's defense was porous as hell. Now, it looked better later on, until Chubb went out, which they looked terrible against Kansas City, in the
they looked terrible in Baltimore with Chubb in
the Freeze Bowl. But but yeah, you have Fangio and Kellen Moore now in Philadelphia. How do you feel about that as far as Sirianni's future?
Well, Sirianni's still going to be fired. Head coach has still got to have someone in the locker room, and he has no one. I mean, Belichick doesn't have a locker room. He had Brady. That was his go-between. That was his cushion. Sirianni has no one like that. Kellen Moore can't be it. And I don't think Vic's going to take the time to do it for Nick Sirianni.
And since Kellen Moore's been hired, I've seen so many fluff pieces about how, he's had this many years as offensive coordinator. This is the right guy to bring in at the right time to take care of it. And I go, okay, yes, they had an explosive offense in Dallas, but what did they do when it mattered? Nothing. And then
and you can look
he
at
had
I
this
mean,
year
what
with
happened in
Justin Herbert.
or the Chargers?
San Diego, yeah, with the
Los
Chargers.
Angeles. I mean, that offense was non-existent this year.
If you want, and it was non-existent before Herbert got hurt. Before he got hurt, they did not look great at all. So
I know.
I'm not impressed with. As a Cowboys fan, I'm very, very happy with the hire. I hope that they don't succeed so very much. I'm extremely happy with the hire, but I've seen so many fluff pieces on how great of a hire this is, how great this was, and everything. And I'm like, okay, as a Cowboy fan who had to suffer under this, be ready for what you're getting. I'm happy with the hire. I hope he just. It's the same way as when the Eagles hired Chip Kelly as a head coach. And I go, I'm happy about that. Good luck. I've said this to you guys before. I believe Chip Kelly was an undercover Cowboy fan who took the job just to make the Eagles suck. I really do. I really believe that. I really believe he just loved the Cowboys.
The job he did.
With what he did, it really wouldn't surprise me. If he did, then God bless him. But go ahead and talk about the other coaching hires you guys want to talk about. That was the one I wanted to bring up.
Well, I think
you got something on that one, Jeff?
Yeah, I think these hires have GM hires written all over it. I don't think Sirianni had any say whatsoever who was going to be on the staff of the Eagles. I mean, you have to remember a couple of years ago when, or actually not even a couple of years ago, this was not this season that we're in now, but the prior season, the Eagles brought in Vic Fangio as a consultant to help out the defense, particularly in Super Bowl or the last Super Bowl, which obviously didn't pay dividends for him. But I think, to me, these sound like GM hires, and so at the very least, Sirianni has some sort of familiarity with Vic Fangio just because he was there last year. But that could just be from Howie Roseman and leadership wanting to bring in someone of their own and make them be defensive coordinator. And then in terms of Kellen Moore, I don't think there's any relationship whatsoever between Sirianni and Kellen Moore whatsoever.
Do you think that move could be that because he was with the Cowboys that he might have some knowledge of where they can help knock them out?
100%. That's exactly the reason why they brought them in. And I don't think it's going to work out so good. And I think probably Sirianni is going to get fired. I just think with a guy like Sirianni, he's one of these classic coaches where when everything is going great, it is great. Everyone's on cloud nine. Everything is fantastic. He's the best coach ever. But then when things get bad or dysfunctional, things get really, really bad. And I think if it weren't for him going to the Super Bowl last year, he would have been fired. And so now really, I think you have, if not three, at least two coaches on their last year in the NFC East heading into the 2024 season.
And with you saying three and not just two, you're putting Brian Daboll as possibly on that, depending on what season they have, of course.
Correct.
Yes.
That's what I thought you were going with. All right, Caleb, go.
Okay. Yeah, I've got one that kind of hits me in the gut, especially after losing to the Chiefs.
You've been gnawing at the bit to get after this one, too.
Nah, not necessarily get after it. Just it's sad to see him go. Mike McDonald is going to be leaving the Baltimore Ravens and taking the Seattle job. 6-year contract that he's going to be signing.
Good for him.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he could have used one more year, and I would have loved to have him for another year too. But this is the kind of guy who he's shown to jump when given the opportunity. From Baltimore to Michigan, back to Baltimore, and now going on to the head coaching. I mean, you can't fault the guy. I think he'll be good, especially if he's got Pete Carroll in his ear still, kind of helping him out. Hopefully it doesn't turn into a Doc Rivers type of situation, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so Mike McDonald, defense coordinator, is leaving, and I have no clue who the hell the Ravens are going to get to replace him, because we can hire internally, but at the same time, it's been 2 years. No one's going to get that system like Mike McDonald does and have those coverages down. So
You
this
stay
is
away
going to be
from
an
Dan
interesting.
Stay away from him. He's not yours.
Nah.
You're going to have
Very
Ron
true.
Rivera.
No. Such put that curse on
No.
Yeah,
seriously.
He wouldn't even
no
have to
clue
move.
about
He could
that.
stay in the same house and still drive over to the
He
work.
could. He
He
could.
could. You know,
That's
that'd be
true. That's
benefit.
true.
Exactly.
But y'all got anything on that one before I go to the next one?
No, nothing there except that when it comes down now with him being hired over there in Seattle, Washington's the only team left to hire a head coach. And, of course, Dan Quinn is one of the options in that.
Because Ben Johnson says he's staying with the Lions. He turned down Seattle, Washington, and I think the Falcons as well.
He did. So that is still an
already
option.
officially hired somebody.
I would not like Dan Quinn to go to a divisional rival, especially with all the dysfunction going on with the other teams in the NFC East. But
honestly, I think if he went to Washington, I think it'd help the Cowboys.
I feel bad.
I don't think he's cut out to be a head coach. I'm sorry.
Well, they also don't have
for the
quarterback. His success he had in Atlanta was because he had Matt Ryan at prime Matt Ryan. And he was able to succeed with that and get to a Super Bowl with it. But then it's who you're going to bring in. Are you going to bring Ron Rivera in to bring it in? I mean, we talked earlier about, there was rumors about, bring Bill Belichick in with head coach money and have Mr. Defense coordinator. But as you told me earlier, he's accepted a job as a high school coach, coaching Tom Brady's son.
Yeah, that's what he supposedly took. He took a high school job coaching Tom Brady's son to bench him.
And we're hearing this now. I mean, we heard this earlier. We need to do some research and find out if it's true before we go completely revel in it, because that would be the ultimate level of saltiness that I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, Bill Belichick, to me, would be the epitome of the statue of spite if he does this. That's what it is. Like, I'm not going to take an NFL coaching job or an NFL assistant coach job. College. I'm going to go coach high school, where the guy who has pissed me off the most son is, so I can bench his son.
Right.
Like, I can only ever achieve to have a portion of that spite in my life. Like, that is just giving up millions of dollars. You sit there and shit in someone's face. Like, literally, like, God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But you know who I feel most sorry for with Michael McDonald leaving?
Who?
The Doobie Brothers. Just say leaving. No.
The Doobie Brothers.
Michael McDonald, you know, the artist, you know, the musician, the singer.
Yes.
Michael McDonald. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Is that a failed joke or what?
That was not a good joke. It was bad. That was worse than a dad joke. And my son and Wyatt will tell you when a dad joke is coming.
God.
That's a dad joke. That's bad.
I'm just gonna step away here.
Well, you need to. That's what it comes down to: is when does a joke become a dad joke, Jeff? When it becomes apparent. That's how it's done.
That's like what is that? A son asks his father, "Can you explain what a solar eclipse is to me?" The father goes, "No, son."
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what the fuck?
Father's dying
That's from
father's dying from a heart attack and goes, "Son, call me an ambulance." The son goes, "You're an ambulance," and the father smiles and then dies.
It has been passed. Oh, all right. Well, I'm going to break us out of this little chain here. That's all I got of the coaching carousel. But I'm going to jump to the MLB for just a second with a couple of interesting notes.
Go for it.
Jorge Polanco, excuse me, has been traded from the Twins to the Mariners. This is an all-star second baseman that was on the Twins. Is joining our division rival. So another division rival is getting stronger. Just like Hader joining Astros, Polanco is now joining the Mariners. So they're trying to get some bats that they can use.
They're the Mariners.
I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah,
they're always the Mariners. They will always be Seattle, and they will always falter. They'll come out.
I agree with you.
Seattle's so great, just like when they had King Felix. We're great. It's Seattle. They're going to win the division. They'll shit.
With 180 for the Rangers and I think 240 for the Mariners, followed of course by the A's and Angels, who are like non-existent, like plus 500 and shit.
Oh, they have. Angels have dropped off.
Astros are still favored to win the division, but Rangers are still number 2, so good for them.
It's interesting.
I gotta wonder.
What's up?
What are your guys' thoughts on Trout's future with the Angels? If they're going to be a cellar dweller, what are your thoughts about his continuation?
I think eventually he'll want to win just because he'll hear all this legacy talk, but it won't be until it's almost too late. Trout's just so laid back. It's just.
Do you think he's that loyal? Like he's Dirk loyal? Or is he finally going to be like Damian Lillard loyal, where it's like, I'm never leaving, but then you hit that point of, we're not doing shit. I want to win.
Because
that's
Angels,
what I was thinking too.
They don't win. But I mean, Trout in his mind is still young, and he's still relatively young, but injuries are starting to catch up to him.
The injuries have aged him multiple years.
Exactly. Kind of like Mickey Mantle, which is what he was compared to, ironically, coming out.
Well, also, too, his drunkenness contributed to that as
well. That helped.
Well, that didn't hurt.
That hurt a lot of people. I mean, Babe Ruth hit his home runs on beer and hot dogs. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's fair.
A dog and beer diet gets to the home run king.
Oh, but I would. That was just a side thing, and just what I wouldn't get for my
I don't even know.
I think it'll still be about 5 years at least, with the Angels just simmering in last place-ish.
I don't think he'll.
I don't finally say, I need to get somewhere where I can get a ring.
I don't think it's going to take him 5 years. I think it's going to take him 2. I think at 2 years, if they don't go ahead and trade him and take advantage of what he has right now in trade capability, which I think
who do you trade him to? I mean, do you trade him to the Padres and say, give us like 6 of your all-stars? And we'll see if we can.
Padres have already given up everyone, and they fucked up.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Pretty much already given up everybody.
Well, that's the thing. I understand what you say. Who do you trade me to? But there are teams out there that would give up the farm.
I think the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers can. I think the Giants can.
Yeah.
Well, the Dodgers already did everything.
I don't know if you get enough in return.
Well, I guess, yeah. That's the thing. I mean, that'd be hilarious if you had Ohtani.
Well, that's why I look at who has the best farm. And as much as I'd love the Rangers to get Mike Trout,
Rangers have one of the best farm systems.
We are going to be set.
No way the Angels are trading him in the division.
Well, no, they're not going to trade him in division. That's the thing. But we're set at outfield.
Mm-hmm.
And we're set for the future with Evan Carter, with Wyatt Johnson. We're good.
But, I mean, if you think about it, you could put him at first base.
You could.
And have him DH at the same time, too. Save some of those injuries and legs.
But that's the thing is they won't trade. I mean, it depends on how bad the situation is there for the Angels. If it's that bad and you could get more from the Rangers than outside the division, you make the trade. You make the trade. You get what's the best offer. If no one else offers better.
I mean, you try to, but this is.
But that's the thing is people outside the division. It's Mike Trout. They're gonna offer more. It's gonna happen. Someone's going to offer the freaking farm
Well,
for
what
it.
did you do? The Astros swooped in and said, "Here's our entire farm system. Give us Mike Trout." Go
It's
get
still in the
Mike.
division. The Astros aren't going to do that.
They
They're
might.
not. They could
I mean,
try.
they're obviously not going to trade their entire fucking farm system. But I mean, if the Astros tried to swoop in and say, "Oh, this is what the Rangers," let's get a little better, and just make sure the Rangers don't get him, but we get him.
I mean that's when you have to counter. You have to counter and see what goes from there. And then it becomes a bidding war. So I mean, it still comes down to that it would have to be the right situation for them to deal him in the division.
Well, of course.
They would
I
have
don't see it happening in the division. I see it more likely to the Dodgers, who actually have some talent and have a farm system still, even though they
spent on Ohtani and everyone else that they've signed.
I would say, yeah, it's not just Ohtani either. Don't forget, they got the other Japanese guy.
Yes.
They got another outfielder or
They are
somebody in free
so
agency.
overpaid on everything. It's absolutely absurd.
If they do not win the championship next year, somebody's getting fired. Because that's just too much money to throw around and not win a championship.
The GM's gone if they don't win.
Yeah.
That's what it is. No, I've always seen Trout going back over to the East Coast. He's a Jersey guy. I could see him going.
The Yankees don't have a farm system.
The Phillies.
The Phillies don't really have one either.
No, they don't. But there's some teams over there that could. Honestly, I think Baltimore could probably have a chance.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, with the young
they have a team.
And they still have a good farm system.
They do have a good farm system. They have a team that's young and poised, and you could add that veteran presence in with him. That would make Baltimore fucking scary. And then also, he wouldn't negate that trade because he's closer to home than what he is now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the thing that got us through Baltimore this year was they're a good overall team, but there wasn't a bat to scare you.
No, no one scared you. There was no one there that you had to pitch around. You could pitch to their whole lineup the same way. You didn't have to pitch around anyway.
Exactly. They were all guy to worry about.
Exactly. And that was their one fatal flaw. And if you added Mike Trout to that lineup, that makes that lineup scary.
It would. It would. And speaking of the Orioles, though,
I hope that doesn't happen.
Bounce off you.
I hope it doesn't.
The Orioles just sold, so they could have some money actually now, because apparently Mike Arrieta, sorry if I'm butchering that name, has agreed to sell the team for $1.725 billion. No, Arrieta is purchasing the team. Excuse me.
Angelos is selling the team.
Yeah, Angelos,
which they bought the team at $1.73 million. Sold it for $1.73 billion.
Group too. Yeah, I mean they're banking, but supposedly this opens the pockets for the Orioles. So they could actually start to possibly be a winning team on a more consistent.
They were a winning team this year.
That's what I'm saying, on a more consistent basis. I mean, they had a couple of years with Buck Showalter earlier than this year, but the Orioles aren't known for winning.
They were playing low-key money ball, and they were this year as well, too. No one expected to do what they were. They were the youngest team in the league coming through that. Yes. But now they have I see what you're saying. They have the financial means that they can go out and purchase these other players and bring them in to help.
If they wanted to go that route,
they have.
Yeah, you can take on a contract of a Mike Trout.
Exactly. You can bring in these veteran leaders to add to your young core nucleus that's playing extremely well.
Right.
No, they're poised they are poised to dominate the American League East for many, many years, which Yankee fans do not want to hear right now.
Nah.
Honestly, the Yankees.
They only had a $16 million payroll.
Yankees have had a great team that they have not made, succeeded with. When they signed Giancarlo Stanton, everybody thought that this team's they're the baby bombers. I remember this on my honeymoon. We were down in Curacao watching the Astros and the Yankees and calling them the baby bombers. And it was like, okay, they have a chance now here, but they haven't succeeded with what they put together yet so far.
Yeah.
I'm really
That's
loving
true.
that we're talking baseball on January 31st. I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah.
And we're talking in depth
Thank
about
you, Rangers. Thank you, Rangers, for igniting this.
Yeah.
Well,
Very
not
true,
even
very
just
true.
even if the Rangers hadn't won, I'd still would be enjoying this conversation because
Sure.
as I've gotten older, I've gotten more into baseball. I've looked back
Baseball's,
at how many
you
games
said
I've
opening day.
exactly. Well, I look back at the games that I've gone to personally, and I look back at the games, and I kept all my old ticket stubs ever since I was a kid. That was just one thing I did. I kept my ticket stubs, and you go back and look through, and I've got maybe 6, 7 Cowboy games, 12,
We're
13
rolling,
Maverick games, 3 or 4 Shark games.
Rangers actually for you. We got
Rangers,
the Rangers signing a reliever, Robinson.
Yes, I did see that. I've got over 100
So-
Maverick Ranger games. And already since I've been up here, I've got
Yeah.
2 Penguin games and I've got 4 Pirate games.
Very nice.
I mean, to me, baseball is just a more enjoyable game to go to, and I have finally accepted that I'm more of a baseball fan than anything else.
Yeah, anyone who's ever told me it's boring, I take them to a game and they're like, "Oh, this is much better when you can see it in person." And I'm like, "You're not wrong."
Well, I do have to say that now with the pitch clock,
I think you're wrong. I think it's boring to begin with on TV.
Well, with the pitch clock, it doesn't make it as boring for people to watch on TV anymore.
It's such a better.
Well, the rule changes have some helped, yeah, but we'll get into that. I'm hoping that whole
the first game I went to this last year, the first game I went to where I was in and out in 2.5 hours, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. So it happens. Like I said, they're trying to get
all. I'm not a fan of the Ghost Runner, but I love the pitch clock, though.
Oh yeah, no, the pitch clock and the hitter clock are the greatest things that hit baseball in a long time.
Yes.
All right. So diverting away from baseball.
Well, I think we could take a little bit. Quick question though on going back to Robertson for the Rangers there. I think he helps the bullpen. Would have loved to have Hader included in that as well.
I would have loved to have Hader as well too, but Hader's arm is off now, as far as I'm concerned.
I know, as far as you're concerned, you've stated it many times.
But also, too, you have to remember the 5 years for $100 million for a closer. That's a lot of money.
It's a big contract. I mean, the guy was under 300 or under 3 for ZRA. So I mean, I'll take him and hope he keeps up what he's doing. And like I said, our bullpen in the regular season was pretty bad, but we had a fairly solid bullpen going into that postseason. Sorbs was great. Robinson has been pretty good for the team since he played last year. Chapman was able to hold it down, even though he worried us. And Martin, he closed, but he scared the shit out of us too. So I mean, it's a fine line.
Well, yeah, I mean, Chapman's gone now. So
Chapman's
Chapman.
I'm gonna get to go watch Chapman in person because he signed with the Pirates.
I know. I was about to say he signed with Pittsburgh.
I can boo him in person.
Don't boo Chapman.
Too bad Haney didn't.
Well, that's the thing is that the Pirates fans boo their team no matter what.
They do.
Well, rightfully so.
They deserve it. Rightfully so. But yeah, I hated that Hader went to Houston. If he didn't go to the Rangers, I just hoped he didn't go to Houston. That was my only thing. But he did.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So in that aspect, I will root for his arm to fall off. And I hope that he does not live up to his contract. But okay, that has passed. Let's move on. Let's see where we can succeed. I am not
faltering. Montgomery can still be signed, but that's supposedly is getting farther and farther out of reach.
At the end of the day,
not happy how arbitration has gone so far.
No, well, of course he's not. Of course he's not. But at the same time, it's a business, unfortunately, and
it is. And
players,
I feel like the Mavs are milking this Bollies. We don't know where the money's coming from issue. You're gonna get fucking paid, Rangers. Come the fuck on.
True, but at the same time, it's business. And any players, when they get mad about it, hey, it's business. And the thing is, Adolis, I love him. He's my son's favorite player. You ask Wyatt, who's your favorite player? Adolis Garcia. I agree with you. I love you. Hey, I love it. Corey Seager's my favorite player right now on the team. But at the same time, hey, you struck gold here and you're going forward in your contract. I agree with it, but you are longer in the tooth than what you were. It's a business when it comes down to it, and the teams are going to look toward the future. And I'm not saying that it's right. I'm not saying that. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Hey, this is what they're thinking.
This is what I think pisses off
do in the
kids
future.
more often than not.
How do we?
Businesses try to become too businessy. And
Well, things do have to become businessy at a point. I mean, to a point of
but as long as you're making money, that should be the end results. I feel like.
But how do we compete the next year? And that is part of making money. Is how do we compete the next year?
Ticket prices and beer prices.
Are you
a lot of money?
Yes. What you did for us last year is going to bring us some money, but are you going to continue that? Are we still going to get that out of you? Are we? If you bet that you are, then you pay them and you give them that money because you bet that they're going to give you the same production, and that will bring more money to you. That's where they're at. Adolis, if everything that he did, which was fantastic, if he would have done it, and he was 4 years younger than what he is,
I'm not
it's a no-brainer you sign. It's a no-brainer you sign. But with the Doles being a little bit older,
Chapman after how shaky he was in the playoffs, but
I'm just
that's
saying,
neither here nor there. That's a good reason. That's why I'm glad I'm not Chris Young. Chris Young can deal with these fucking decisions, and
he's the one
I will judge him harshly or greatly.
Exactly. We're just speculating.
I wish Chris Young luck. I wish Chris Young luck. Yeah.
I wish him luck as well. I hope he does well for us because I want us to have another great team to root for next year while I'm wearing my World Series hat every single game. Because I will be. Which Wyatt is already asking to come to Texas to come to Arlington to see a Rangers game. I told him yes. Because I haven't seen the new stadium yet either myself. So we need to see it together. And I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, let us know when you go down there. I've been there a couple of times.
Hey, when we're in town to do that, we're all going. Trust me, there'll be a group. Are you kidding me? There will be a group. All right.
Well, let me jump over to the Mavericks here real quick, and then I'll take my seat, as it were. The rookie that we didn't want, Derek Lively, is going to become the first Dallas Mavericks. Well, me and Jeff, you did not want it. You didn't say shit. I'll stand behind what I said, though. But he is going to be on the Rising Stars. So good for him. He gets to be on there. He's the first Maverick to be there. Yes, very much so. But also, Mr. Luka had quite a week this past week. First, he gets some smack talk with the Suns fan that he had thrown out for supposedly calling him fat. Or out of shape, I should say, is probably the more appropriate term. Allegedly is all he said. And Lucas said he overreacted and apologized. But then he came back a few games later against the Hawks and absolutely smashed it. I mean, 73
points. The fourth.
Yeah, but you could stop there. But you could say 10 rebounds, 7 assists, and a steal to go along with it while shooting 75%. Damn. That's all I can say about that game.
However, in that game, they needed all 73 points.
Yeah.
Because they only won by
5 points. 148, 143, the final score for the Mavs. So they needed everything he could give them. But yeah, I mean, 73 points, like you said, the third highest score in the NBA history, the fourth person to do 73, though. But the first person to have 75% shooting
right
percentage on it.
just right after Joel Embiid and who else was it? Was it Cat?
Well, Cat dropped 62.
Oh yeah.
62.
Mm-hmm.
And then Joel Embiid dropped 70 just 2 weeks beforehand.
It's crazy what players are scoring right now.
Yeah, I don't think that's really healthy for the NBA. But at the same time, I'll say this, though. What one thing that really fucking pissed me off about the Stephen A. Smiths of the world, the national media of the world, everyone's like, oh, Joel Embiid, what a phenomenal performance against that rugged San Antonio Spurs defense. This is incredible. But then Luka dropped 73. And then the first thing I hear Monday morning is like, something has to be done about the NBA defense. We have to fix it. There's something wrong with this league. So it's just like they want to give credit to Embiid and everyone else who scores 70 points. But if a white Euro gets 70 points, then something is wrong with the league.
I would not call the Spurs a rugged defense either.
That's just the way that it is. That's unfortunately the way the world is. And we try to stay away from this podcast because there's no reason for that. And we're going to not bring that into this aspect. But we have to acknowledge that when it does show up is that, hey, give the man his due. He scored the fourth most points in a game ever in NBA history.
Most since Kobe, he's 81, I think, too.
81, yes.
Correct.
And the only two people ever above him are Will Chamberlain and Kobe. That's it. That's it. Yeah. No one else. Give the man his due. Now, unfortunately, they lost to the Kings and to the Timberwolves tonight. So it's like, hey.
And well, at least tonight they had the excuse of no Kyrie, no Luka, none of those guys were playing tonight, but still.
Still, at the same time,
it's not good. Not good.
If Nico is going to prove himself as a competent GM in the NBA, this is his time to make.
The Mavericks have come a long way from being number 2, number 3 in the Western Conference too to start this first third of the year. Yes. And now they're sitting at 8th.
They've not been good. They need another compliment. And they need to get it quick.
I have a serious question.
Yes.
I have a fake answer.
Fuck you.
I have a fake and a real answer. I'm just curious to see what your question
is. My question is, other than Luka and Derek Lively, who the fuck do you care is on this team right now?
Kleber would be one I care about.
Dante Exum. Just to piss you off.
That is a fake. I'll take that as a fake answer. Thank you very much.
He's like, that's the fake answer.
I've talked about Dante Exum since day one, though, so you can't.
Well, I know you have.
Nowhere, so.
I mean, right now, I'd like to say Grant Williams, but he's just not.
He's
Grant Williams in Boston.
Terrible.
That's what I said. I'd like to.
Especially when he came out after the 73-point game and said, "Hey, 81 points combined. Who can stop us?" Is his picture on X with Luka? I mean, come on, you haven't done shit.
I don't know what happened to Grant Williams.
Maybe he's a system fit player.
He's terrible. I don't know.
We're not that.
I don't know what it is, but you can't rely on him to score. And sorry, his defense isn't good enough to warrant 0 offensive production. Well,
with them being now sitting around,
Kleber, Powell, and Lively, and Luka might be the only ones I'd want to keep on that team.
Who are you going to add? Who are you going to be able to?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Get rid of the whole fucking team, except for those 2 dudes and maybe Jaden Hardy.
Okay, and then what are you bringing in to do that?
I don't know. 11 other guys, because the rest of these guys suck and they can't do anything.
Luka's not going to do another rebuilding. phase.
He's not. You're going to
Not
lose
a
Luka.
deep rebuilding phase.
No. I know they were wanting to go to getting Siakam from Toronto, but that didn't happen.
No. I don't know. Maybe it's something to where you just have to wait a year. And you know who I think would be really good for this team is Lauri Markkanen. To me, he's one of these.
Chicago. Well, they've tried to get him.
No, he's on the. He's on the
agreement.
Jazz. Well, he's on the Jazz now. I think really what
There was
Lauri
a lot of talk
Markkanen-
about him being the next Dirk Nowitzki. There was a lot
Right.
of talk about that. A lot of talk
And-
about that.
Yeah.
and he's had a
He
hell
hasn't
of a
lived up
year
to the
this
hype.
year. So to me, I think Lauri Markkanen
It's been
is.
okay.
How
Lauri
interested
Markkanen-
are you with DeMarcus Russell being a trade rumor from the Lakers? How interested are you in that?
Is
No,
none.
I wouldn't touch anybody on the Lakers right now with a 10-foot pole.
I mean,
Not even
I don't
LeBron.
see what
DeMarcus Russell had
D'Angelo Russell.
success he's had success everywhere else but the Lakers. That's the thing.
He can't play defense, and this team needs.
No, he
defense.
can't play defense, but no one plays defense.
Honestly, I'm with Jeff.
Well,
Trade
fair.
Kyrie Irving for Larkin and call it a day. Draft Tristan
Larson's
Newton.
not playing defense.
What?
They can't play defense. What?
I said trade Kyrie for Larkin. Then draft Tristan Newton.
For who? Larkin?
Draft Kyrie Newton.
Who's
Yeah,
Larkin?
Kyrie Irving for Larkin.
Who's Larkin?
Or whoever this Utah Jazz guy is you mentioned
No,
earlier.
Lauri Markkanen.
Lauri Markkanen.
Markkanen. Apparently, I suck at names. I'm going to go back to calling somebody Marmaduke later.
He's a good boy.
That guy. I'm just going to call
Marmaduke
him that
got
guy
half
and
a
that
sack.
gal from now on.
Half
yeah,
a sack's
I
like
do that
kissing your
too.
cousin.
Fair.
Fair. I want to know how you know.
Just saying. Just saying.
But congrats, Luka, as we were initially discussing.
No,
But,
we're happy.
This team's going to have to
but
go under a serious rebuild. I think we need to make a segment out of it on its own because it's
I see
it's
this
gonna be a
being
lot.
A segment after the Super Bowl because that's going to give us 2 weeks. Maybe even the section after that. But this is where Nico's going to make his money. This is where he proved
unmake his
why
money.
he came from Nike. He was not in basketball. He was not a GM. He was not a manager of a professional team.
Yet,
But at the same time,
to prove he's good.
This is now his chance to prove, hey, I can put a good team together. I'm built for this. I wasn't just a good manager of Nike shoes and knew Cuban and got the job. No, this is how you prove that you are a legitimate general manager of a professional sports team.
Okay.
Here's your chance. Go for it.
Yeah, because I think at the end of the day, Cuban is really the GM of this thing, isn't he?
Oh, Cuban is, but at the same time, Cuban has the final say because he still has control of basketball operations even after selling a majority of the team. He still has majority of basketball operations. So he still has the final say. But at the same time, as the GM, your job is to go make the choices and then sit there and look at the people who are above you and go, look, I know you have control of my say, but I'm telling you right now, this is going to make our team better. This is what's going to do better, and you live and die by it. Now, if he's not willing to do that, then he's not fit for the job. He needs to go out there, and if he feels like he can better the team, regardless of what Cuban thinks, if he thinks he can make the team better, he needs to go and fight for it, and he needs to go do that.
Right.
Yeah, and that's to me, this is his hey, nut up or shut up moment.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with you, Chris, and I think it's the same for Jason Kidd too. I think this is the end of the line for this Kidd Nico package. Because if they get the 8 seed if they're even getting that, then
Kidd's done at that point.
I think they should both be gone. They should both be gone, but at the very least, Kid will be gone.
Well, that's why I say I agree with you. At the very minimum, Kid will be gone at the end of the season. If they're in 8th seed and they get thumped, then yeah, he's done. Nico, I think, can survive at that point, but if they don't make the playoffs, I think they're both gone. And Nico
That's
has
not out of the realm of possibility.
It's not out of the realm of possibilities, but Nico has a chance right now to help change that. He has the opportunity. He's the general manager. Do your job.
Of course.
Do what you can do.
I just feel sometimes Nico is just like looking through,
honestly, guys, I feel
who
like
do I know it through my marketing deals?
We know Nico's the manager. This is his thing to make. We can make a whole segment on this, like we said later. We got anything else left for the Gumbo?
I got two more things. Dallas Stars sitting at second in the division, third in the Western Conference, and they've won 4 of the last 5 games, and out of those, their last 3 games they've won by 1 goal. That's what you want to see going at this point of the season, as you're pushing toward the playoffs. The Stars are in a perfect position. They're doing well. They're right behind. They're only a game behind Colorado for the division, and Colorado hasn't played stellar. They've come out strong here recently. You're still 4 games behind Vancouver, 4 or 5 games behind Vancouver. Vancouver is playing out of their minds right now. I will tell you, no one saw Vancouver leading the West.
That came out of nowhere.
No one saw Vancouver leading the West. They have been the freaking cellar dwellers of the Pacific for the last 3 years. No one saw this happening. So I'm feeling good about the Stars. They're doing well. And yeah. 4 out of the last 5 games they've won, and in the last 3 they've won by a goal. So I'm feeling comfortable with the way they're going. Just a little blurb on the Stars. I'll get some more into hockey football, but
the only thing I'll comment that I'm a little concerned about with the Stars is, yes, they're winning, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters. But Ottinger still looks rusty to me. I
can see that because in these goals that they're winning by 1, I mean, it's not like it's a 2-1.
No, they're 5-4, 4-3, 5-4,
4-3, 5-4. There are a lot of goals that are being scored at these games. So I agree with you. Ottinger, who is the only star that was brought into the All-Star game. The only star.
Mm-hmm. Even with missing time.
Exactly. He was the only one that was brought in the All-Star game, which I found very surprising because Rupe Hintz has put up great numbers through the beginning of the year.
And also, too, on a local level, Chris, I mean, everyone was shocked that not only did Ottinger seem a little off this year, combined with his health issues, the fact that he made the All-Star team, I believe everyone was shocked. Not even, I mean, obviously from a national standpoint, but even from a local standpoint.
Well, there were plenty of the players on the Stars. I mean, if you have to go through and pick, because every team has to have one person on the team, just like baseball. Okay, you took Ottinger. I understand why, but at the same time, with the injuries he's had this year, why didn't you look at the rest of the team? There's too many players on this team. There's a reason why they're third in their division, that you can only pick Ottinger. That's it. That's surprising. That's a little favoritism away in the choice to me.
No, I agree.
Because Rupe Hintz has been, from the games I've seen and from what I've looked at, has been, once again, I've been talking about Rupe Hintz for the last 3 years. The kid is freaking good. He's good. He needs his respect. And there's no reason why he shouldn't be in this All-Star game.
No, I agree. And also, too, just again, a shout out to Matt Duchesne. He's been a great pickup so far. Pavelski is still doing his thing. It's a little surprising that Jason Robertson has dropped off a little bit. Maybe it's just
I'm not surprised he dropped off last year.
Yeah. So, and again,
I've lost my faith in Jace Robertson.
Well, and also too, another reason to back that up is he didn't really show up in the postseason. So
no, he fell off before the postseason.
Yeah,
and in the postseason, he was completely gone, and he has not done anything this year to prove himself since then. So he has a lot to prove. He doesn't deserve to be on a third line right now. He hasn't done anything. He has done absolutely nothing. So yeah, if the Stars can make a trade, they should look out for it and do it. Anyways, that's all I have about the Stars. Last thing I have on my side is English Premier League. Yay, soccer!
Hey,
go.
mm-hmm. Go.
So right now, my Arsenal, go Arsenal, which I found out that their song is "She Wore a Yellow Ribbon."
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, John Wayne had that movie too. She wore a yellow ribbon.
He did.
I'm down for that. So,
spoken like a true Yank.
Damn right. So Arsenal is going against Liverpool this weekend. Arsenal's in third place, tied with Manchester City at 46 points. Liverpool with a big 51-point lead, 5-point lead. Now with the,
do we have any idea where that game is going to be on TV? Do we have any?
I looked. The game
probably ESPN
at Arsenal at Emirates Stadium. As of right now, from looking at ESPN, which normally tells you where the game will be broadcast, it is not given a broadcast if it's on Peacock or USA.
So that tells me that if it is on ESPN Plus, so it is on Peacock. It is on Peacock.
Well, I hope that it is because I have Peacock. It is an 11:30 game Eastern time.
Correct. It is on. I see Peacock Premium now. I don't know if that's different from.
It is different from just straight Peacock.
Oh shit! I might not get that then.
Well, are you paying for Peacock?
Yeah, but I don't know what Peacock Premium is though.
I think that's
bullshit.
Yeah, I think that's. I think you're technically going to get it then if you're paying for it. There used to be a free tier, but they phased out. So I think everyone who pays for it gets like the NFL games and the soccer games now.
Okay, so I think it's Peacock Premium Plus is the one that's the most. So I don't know. Fuck it.
Well, that's where it is there. Big game for Arsenal. Being an Arsenal fan, big game for me. Liverpool still tearing it up right there. Tottenham has gone into the 4th seed. They're tied with Aston Villa. They're 3 points behind Arsenal and Manchester City. I mean, it was Aston Villa. Everyone was surprised they were up that high for this long. It was about time for them to fall down. They're down the seat right above West Ham. So Tottenham has been sitting there hanging around. They've had some good games, and we're able to jump them up, even though they're still 3 points behind Arsenal and Manchester City, who are just trying to knock down Liverpool. This is a huge game. Huge game to be able to bring it up because
it's a must win.
If you're a Premier League fan, listen to us, and you can sit here and laugh at us, idiot Yanks. Doing my discussion, my research, finding out that, what is it when you're, how do you win? What's going on? Is this a playoff? What goes on? I need to know what goes on with this. It's just the points. Whoever is at the top when the season ends is the winner. That's what it is. Yes. You just get to it.
You don't have a top two face each other.
No, there is no. You're at the top. You win, and if Arsenal's going to be at that point, they need to win this game against Liverpool, and they have not played well against Liverpool all year long.
Again, this is a must-win game for Arsenal.
No, it is.
If they want to have any kind of chance of winning the Premier League, they have to win this game.
This is the game. If you want to win the Premier League, this is the win. And you have it at Emirates Stadium in London. This is the best chance you have, because their last game was in Liverpool, where they lost 2-1, and they have not won in Liverpool in 13 chances. They had 11 losses, 2 ties, 13 chances.
Yeah.
Had not won. So you're 5 points back. This is how you get back into it. And you come in, and it's not going to be easy, but you need to come in and have a dominating factor at home. And this is where you do it. I really hope I can get this game. I'm going to be walking around Disney World at this point. And if I can have this on my phone while I'm going, it will make
hopefully
it a little bit more exciting.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that
should be. This is a game that if they don't put it on Peacock or USA or some other, they're failing the people, their subscription holders.
Exactly. They better not put this on some, bonus Peacock bullshit. They need to put this on regular Peacock to make sure that people watch this game.
All right. Well, I think that's everything on my docket except for the last thing that I do remember I didn't check off here on my list, unless you guys had anything else.
I'm good. You finish off your checklist.
Well, good. I want to finish off this thing, and I'm glad that I forgot to check this off, because this is one thing going on with the sweatshirt that I just put on is Ed Cooley's return to Providence.
Oh boy.
And Ed Cooley came in for Georgetown over the weekend and lost to Providence 84-76. And I wish we had it available for you right now, but I'm going to tell you, look it up. Look up Ed Cooley's, post-game report, with the reporters, and tell me that you don't feel he is salty as hell. When he came to his return, there were boos coming down, which of course there were going to be. Your old coach came in, boos coming down, but it wasn't over the top. It was a random amount of boos. But for them to beat them, and for Ed Cooley to be as salty as he was, him saying English, the new coach of Providence, was given a great team, so he should have won. It was a little salty the way that it came out for. And I mean, a big win for Providence, just not for standings wise, but just for their moral, for their fandom, being able to knock out Cooley on his return brought there. I just thought that was something to talk about there, because that was a big game there in the Big East. And with a lot of the tension that was brought on with that, with why Cooley left when he did, said that, he grew up near Providence. This was his dream job. And then right before the playoffs started, he had already committed that I'm leaving and going to Georgetown, an in-conference rival. There's a lot of talk going along with that and what happened with all that. And the rumors that I've heard is that, that he, and this is rumor, that he had an affair with a graduate student, and he was given the choice from his wife to have a divorce and stay at Providence, or stay together and go to another school. This is all hearsay. I don't have a credible person to say that. This is all hearsay. I will say that all together. It's hearsay. Don't sue me. This is hearsay. 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 But those are the rumors that are going around Providence is why he left. And Providence fans felt betrayed of him leaving because he did leave, like, announce his departure before they went into the tournament. And
Yeah.
to go to an in-division rival,
No Big East coach has ever done that before.
No Big East coach has done that. They had Rick Barnes there who left. They had Patino who left. But none of them went to a Big East rival. And to me, it seemed like he felt a little butthurt that he got booed and then took it out in the post game of, hey, and in his statement he said, hey,
basically calling that new coach bad.
English, hey, it was a great win for that team, but English took over a great team. Seemed very salty the way that he said it. If you want to YouTube it up, look it up. There's plenty of video out there to look it up, but it just comes out as very salty. Is that, hey, I got booed. I got, on my homecoming, I was not celebrated for everything I did. And for me winning the Big East and everything that no one else did. And now I'm getting booed for it. But you left on bad terms, so why are you salty about it? And then you got beat on your return back. No, it just came off as salty. I know you guys haven't seen that seen the post game interview.
I saw the game, but I saw the. I didn't see the. I saw the interview. I did see the game, and obviously.
We can circle around to that back next time we're all together and talking about it. Just so you guys get a chance to watch it, because I do recommend you watching it. Because if you want to see salty tears in visual in 4K. You can see them. They're very salty. Like, it's a very, like, I had respect for Ed Cooley. I don't anymore. I'm like, dude, seriously, you lost all respect at that point. When you could have just said, hey, saw my old team, they beat us.
Well, I will say about the game itself, though, I thought Georgetown played about as well as they possibly could have against Providence. In my mind, Providence is, from what I've seen, with the exception of that game on Saturday afternoon, Providence is one of the best defensive teams in the country I've seen all year long. And they laid an egg defensively against Georgetown. I thought Ed Cooley did a hell of a job against Providence, and he almost pulled off the upset and gave the ultimate middle finger to those fans and to the college after that game. But with that being said, kudos to Providence. I thought the boos were warranted. I thought the Providence fans, by and large, behaved as well as they could. And kudos to Providence for getting the win. But I will say this, though. That's the best I've seen Georgetown look all year long. And they did a hell of a job scoring against that.
You expected them to come out for the coach's old team. They were going to come out and play. That was the game that they actually showed any kind of resiliency.
Oh, and Cooley has been circling that game ever since he got hired at Providence.
Of course.
Well, that's all I have. You guys don't have anything else? I'd like to thank everyone. Hey, that was a good gumbo. That was always a good conversation.
No, it was great gumbo. Tasted good.
We'd like to thank everyone for joining us. Please like us and follow us on YouTube, follow us on everything else. Please comment, let us know what you'd like to hear us talk about so that we can join in the conversation. And hey, reach out to us more. If you talk enough trash like Joel Broker did, you might actually get on the show like he did a few many episodes ago. So let us know. We might even let you come on, so just reach out and join the conversation. Let's make this community, and also, as we're getting close to the NCAA tournament, we want everyone to come join us in our little bracket, and we're willing to offer up to the winner, not just now. If one of us wins it, then no one wins it. But if one of us wins it, we're offering up a $50 gift card to the winner. So please jump in, come join our NCAA bracket. We think we're going to beat you. That's why we're confident in offering a $50.
No, so I will be the one to offer you a $50 gift.
Well, we're going to offer you a $50 gift card if you beat us. But the thing is, we don't think any of you can beat us.
No one will beat me.
So if you can beat us and you can win, and you're the
I'll beat
number one in your bracket out of us, even if it's 4 people, only one person joins it, and they beat all 3 of us, you get a $50 gift card. So please join in on that. Come on, we want to have you in on it. Bring it in. See, can you beat us? If you've been listening to us, you can go back and listen to all of our broadcasts. If you think you can beat us and you think our predictions are bad, which some of them have recently been bad, but you know what? Everyone gets their falls. If you think they're bad and you think you can beat us here in the NCAA bracket, let's go for it. The winner gets a chance at a $50 gift certificate. So we'd like to invite everyone out there for that. Look to build this community more and more and more. Please reach out to us on all of our social media prospects. And I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. Jeff Amos, Caleb Culver, thank you for joining us here. Have enjoyed another great conversation, another good evening. This is Chris Porter for another round of Next Round Sports, and we'll see you at the next round. Cheers.